So guys, welcome back. So have you ever seen a child that is born today and the child having yellow skin after the next 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or after a few days? There are some factors that are responsible. I know some people have seen that. So what can be the cause is what we're about to discuss today. So keep following. So the yellowish appearing, the term is called jaundice. We have two types of jaundice, but before we get there, let's break down how this jaundice thing comes about. So we understand that red blood cells is being produced, most especially from the bone marrow, through a process called hematopoiesis. So after it's produced, the red blood cells will live or last for a period of 120 days, after which the cell is broken down and another one is being produced again through a circular process. Now, the red cells is produced, and after the 120 days, it's been broken down. So the breakdown of red cells will give rise to the production of what we call bilirubin. They are yellowish pigment. So when excess of the bilirubin is going through circulation, it makes the skin to get yellow. So what will happen that the skin will not get yellow is the liver. The liver has a way of processing the bilirubin for it to be excreted through urine or through stool, that is toilet. So that's how it is normally excreted without being yellow. But there are some processes that happen and give rise to the appearance of the child being yellow eye, yellow skin, so we're about to discuss that. So there are two types of jaundice. We have the physiological jaundice and the pathological jaundice. The physiological jaundice is the one that is harmless and it doesn't have a cure, and it happens 2 days after the child is born, or more than 24 hours after the child is born. But the pathological jaundice happens within the first 24 hours after the child is born. So that's how we differentiate them. So today we're going to focus on the pathological jaundice because it's rare, it's not common. The physiological one is common. So most times people say that put the baby in the sun. So this pathological one is not common. So most times the one that kill babies. Now there are some causes of this pathological jaundice of this type. The first cause is rhesus disease. So we did a previous video about rhesus disease. So this is the condition where the mother blood type and the child that is carrying blood type are not compatible, are not the same. So the child is carrying rhesus protein and the mother is not carrying the protein. So consider that the mother is O negative, right? Yeah, this is an O blood here. So the mother is O negative and the child she's carrying is O positive. Positive because the child is carrying a rhesus protein on the cell. So the mother's own body now can start resisting the child in the stomach because of the protein, because they are not compatible. So in the process of resisting the child by immune system, it can cause destruction on the red blood cell of the child. And when the red blood cell is broken, what we said, bilirubin will be produced. So the excess breakdown of red blood cells will cause increased production of that bilirubin that will cause yellowish appearance. So that's how rhesus disease can cause this. The next one is infections, sepsis. So some viruses, that we got the cytomegalovirus, and we have another virus called the toxoplasmosis, and then we also have meningitis. They can cause these things to happen, jaundice in babies. So the pathological aspect is there. And then one other thing can be that if the child doesn't pass meconium stool, that is the first black toilet the child can pass when they are born. So that toilet, like we said, bilirubin, when the liver finish processing it, it can be excreted through urine or stool. So assuming the child liver was already processed, or the child liver already processed bilirubin, but then the stool is keeping it, no way for stool to be passed, the bilirubin stays within the body. It makes the body to get yellow or the skin to get yellow again. So that's what happens. And one more thing is that immature labor, where the child is born preterm. So when the child is born preterm, less than 9 months, what happens is that the liver is not mature enough to process bilirubin for it to be excreted. So the child has to grow up to a certain age or certain stage where the liver will grow mature to be able to do that. So that's the reason why the bilirubin will stay in the body and the yellowish appearance will stay within the body surface. So that means you start seeing the yellowish appearance of the eye, the whatever. So that's the pathological aspect. Now the physiological one happens same way preterm birth. If the liver is not mature, that's one way. It's like I just explained it. So the physiological process is, like I said, is harmless. It's not harmful. So most times people will experience it and they can go away. So these are the common ones that people experience in the community. How do we manage this jaundice? So with the pathological one, it is said that phototherapy, that means light. And research have clarified that sunlight is not really recommended for this phototherapy. Something they have other lights, like use the blue lights at home. So most time keep the child, you only have maybe the pampers on the child and keep the child's skin exposed to direct light pointed on the child for a period of time. It helps. How does it help? It helps convert the bilirubin from a fat soluble state into a water soluble state so that it can be excreted either through urine or stool. That's what happens. So if you have any underlying condition like the meningitis, it can be identified through your laboratory examination, the test, and then treat. So cytomegalovirus can be tested. Now with the research disease, the only way it was going to be safe to control it if the child was still in utero, and then the vaccines that will help prevent the mother immunity against the child, if it was going to be given by that time, the child will be prevented and safe. But the child is already born, so that means the mechanism have already taken place. So the only process now is to continue the phototherapy and the child to be fed properly or nutritional, process to go on actively, and his or her own immunization be going ahead. The normal life process, breastfeeding, active breastfeeding. So identify the cause of the pathological one, and then the solution can be provided. So if the pathological one is not treated, the complication to this one is brain damage, because you have too many breakdown of cells, and the brain cells will be damaged. So when brain damage happens, the child can die. That's how most times kill most people babies. So the understanding, we should get it clear. Thank you so much. Follow us for more talks.